Right, so here we're going to go through the rest of the SQL for 1.3. So let's have a look. So, right, let's go here. So this one we're going to go through how to edit, create tables, add records, things like that. So let's go through it. So we can create a table in SQL using, I'm going to leave this up. So obviously you put create table, you write the name of the table you want to create, and then you write all of the fields that you want, followed by the attributes of the field, although attributes are often used to describe fields. So all the characteristics of the fields or attributes. So obviously I'm making this an integer. Not null means it can't be empty. So null means blank, and it can't be null. So that means that you'd be forced to write something in. And obviously I'm making this the primary key. So I'm making this a variable char, so and I'll go through what that means in a minute. It basically means a string that is up to 50 characters, right? And I'm making these not null, so that you have to put these in. Okay, then we've got date of birth as date, and of course this you could leave blank. So if we go to my example, which is not that one, if we open up this one, I'll delete table person, and I'll run create. It's going to give up a warning saying, do you sure you want to run this? I press yes, and it's created this table here. And that is just exactly what you've seen in the thing. There we go. And yeah, that's basically it, really. So that's how you create a table. Okay, so you put, if we wanted to do more things in the table, we would add them here, like, I don't know, like salary or something, and you could put currency, and so on and so forth. I'd probably put currency in capital letters. They just tend to do that. And there you go. And if I don't want it to be null, I put not null. Then you can't not have a salary. But right. So I'm not going to save that. So that is how you create a table. Obviously, you can go back and pause it and look at this. It's not really that difficult to understand. So what are the data types? Well, I'll leave it here. Obviously, you can pause and look at them. But these are the main ones. The main interesting ones to note are char and varchar. Be careful of char, because if you do char, it's a fixed length string. So if you did char 4, they would have to have 4 symbols in that, whatever it is. You couldn't type 3 in. When you went to finish, it would say, nope, needs 4. And you can't have it blank either. So, yeah, it would need to be 4. So normally you use varchar, unless you're doing some sort of product code that's got a fixed length. But very rarely. I've never used it, to be honest. I only ever used varchar. And obviously integer, float, date, time, boolean, and currency are obvious. So I'm not going to go through them. Obviously, you can see the screen. So let's have a look at the next one. How do you add a column? So if you wanted to add a new field. So right now, I'm not storing the hair color. So if I go to my update one, run it. Now you're going to see there's hair color. Okay, and so let's have a look at that. And it's basically that. You do alter table, you write the table name, you do add, you write the field name you want, in this case hair color, and I've set it to varchar 50. If I wanted it to be not null, I'd put not null, and various other things like that. But obviously hair color, I'm not that bothered. They can not write it in if they want, apparently, in this database. And so yeah, that's update table. I'm not going to spend too much time, so obviously you could just look at them again. Yeah. And if you wanted to add more than one, you could just, put more commas and then, do, I don't know, HC jar 4, like that. So let's copy that. I don't know why I didn't do it in here. Now it might moan because I've already got hair color. So let's get rid of hair color. Save the changes. Go here, run it, and then go back, and then I've got 2 there. So if you want to add more than one, you just put commas between them, and you can put not null and stuff here, and you can keep going. Just commas between them, like that. Okay? So, right, let's go on to the next one, which is deleting a column. So there we go, we can do drop. I could have actually I forgot that was the next one, so I should have just done that 5 seconds ago. But you just do drop, so drop column, and that will delete a column or a field out of it. Hair color's gone. Obviously, I've got HC, which is I don't really want, but delete field. There we go. Now, a lot of you might say, but you could just do it easier by hand, just delete things here. But you might have that on a script that creates a column. You might, for example, want to create a column for temporary use, so you can sort of do some calculations and then save them and then delete the column. And you might want to do that in a script, not by hand. So that's why you would need it in SQL, so you can do it in code. So yeah, just alter table, name of table, drop column name. Not very difficult to comprehend. So let's do changing a column type. So it's alter table, alter column. So now I'm changing the data type of this to a chaff 10. So let's add it back because I don't think I have hair color in there. So let's just double check. Right, so hair color. I don't know. I should have deleted that. I think it's currently a 50 variable size. Okay. So if I do alter and then go back in, and I'll go through the code in a second again, you can see that it's now 10. Yeah, there you go. It's now 10, not 50, as stated here. So it's just like that. Alter table, alter column. There you go. And you can do others with commas as well. Again, always with commas for changing 2 or 3. So let's go on to the next one. Creating a table with a link and a compound key. Now this is where it gets tricky actually. So let's go to my other database. File, database 4. Enable. Right, so I've got this current situation where I've got a customer and a subscription, and I need, because it's many to many, because many subscriptions can be had by many customers, we're going to assume this is like Netflix, Prime or something like that, and a customer can subscribe to a service, whatever. So I need a link table in the middle, right? But I need to link all the things together. So I'll just run it and then I'll show you it after. So I run my query to create the link table, I run it, I close this, reopen it, and there you go. I've got my table called orders that's linked together. I've even made these a compound key. So let's have a quick look at the code to see how I've done that. So what you first do is write out all of the fields that are going to be in this table. So I've got 2 because the primary key, remember, is going to be a compound key of those 2 keys together, because you can only ever have one customer ordering the same subscription, so there's never going to be a situation where that's not unique. They can't order Prime twice, or at least not in this database. Obviously that's not true in real life, but they would have it set up differently. In this database they can only have one subscription to whatever service. So I create the they're both integers, right, because that matches the ID of the ones here, so they're of the same data type as that and that. Okay, both numbers. And then I just say, right, I want my foreign key, and in brackets, although you probably get away without that in the exam because SQL is done differently. In the book, for example, a lot of their SQL doesn't work in Access. But anyway, just learn the Access way because it's the real way. So I don't know why they wouldn't just show it that way. Anyway, so I mean, there are other SQLs, MySQL and others, but anyway. So the foreign key here, I've said customer ID, and it's linked, it's referencing to the table customer ID. And then the same with the sub. So that's just saying that is referencing table ID, that is referencing table subscription ID, and then to create a primary key, I do that. Okay, so to create a compound key, I do that. If I just wanted a primary key to not have a compound key, I would literally just write, well, I'd delete that, and then I would write ID, integer, primary key, and then just make sure, put a comma there, and make sure to delete that comma there, and so I just do that. If I just wanted a normal primary key, I could show you in Access, I did actually do it. So there you go. So if I run that, now I've got a very normal one with the primary key there, not a compound key. So maybe in this case I want to have the ability for a person to subscribe twice to the same service, so now they can, because it's not a compound key of the 2. But there you go, that's that one. So that's creating a table with a compound key. So let's go back to adding a record. So I want to add a record to in SQL. So this is how you do it. Now you put insert into and you write the table name, and then look, and then in the brackets you write the fields that you're entering. Now if you're entering all the fields, like which I actually am here, ID, forename, surname, if I go back to here, table customers, if I do add record, run it, I can't because things are open, of course, as always. Should have realised. Is there one in there? I've already got this person in there. I forgot to delete it. So let's delete him. Pretend he wasn't in there. Right, let's add Dave Smith in there. There we go. And now I've got Dave Smith. Because I'm entering all 3, I don't actually need to write ID, comma, forename, comma, surname, because I'm entering all of the data in order. But if I was only entering, for example, the ID and the surname, and I wanted to make it 14, what's the Jackson or whatever, I don't know why I spend time thinking that. So now I'm only adding 2, I'm adding ID, so there'll be no name. Now I can't remember if I made name not null, so let's just check. Did I make name allow 0 required? No, okay, so that's cool. Obviously if it had can't be null in that design, then it wouldn't let me add the record because you could not have a blank. But let's run that one. I've added now another one with Jackson. So with that one, I did need to write what I'm adding. If you're adding all of them, like in this case before, then you don't actually need to write that. That is exactly the same as not writing that. Okay, but there you go. The reason that's not in quotes, by the way, is the data type is integer, and the reason that is in quotes is data type is string or varchar. But there you go, pretty obvious, really. So I'm not going to talk any more about that. And the last but not least, well, not last but not least, there's just two more. So update will allow you to change one. And so what an update is, it's a bit like an SQL search, but you're saying change stuff instead of just like search for stuff. So let's say, for example, probably should have made a better thing here. Let's actually do one. Let's add a short text field called hair color, and let's say actually no, we'll do gender. Actually, let's say gender. I know this is controversial these days, but let's just say we've got M and M, but let's say we've imported this from somewhere, and we really want male and female, but we've got M and F. And that's quite annoying. We want and it could be thousands of these, and we want a male and female. So what we could do is we can design an SQL query. So I'm going to actually change this. I'll go back to that one in a minute. Actually, I'll copy and paste it so that I can go back. Copy of that'll do for now. So set gender equals male. Delete that. Where gender equals M. So now I'm just replacing all of the gender one. So let's close that and then run it. We need to close all this obviously, or it's going to moan at us. And there we go, we've got male. And I could do the same with female. So you can see there, so it's a bit like an SQL search, but then you do an update. So what was the other one doing? Oh, not that one. What was this one doing? Can't remember now. I think that changed the name of one of the people from David Smith to Dave Samuels. Yeah, there you go. So let's have a look. So I did change the forename to Dave and the surname to Sandals of the ID number 1, which is David Smith before. So there you go. So you do a sort of search here, and then you say, what are you changing? Yeah. There you go. And last but not least is a really quick one because you can't do it in Access. I've never seen it before, but the course talk about it. Is deleting records, but actually you can't do that in Access. There's no way to delete a record in SQL, probably for safety reasons. Most people never delete records, they move them to backups. You can move things, I think, or you can create a new table from stuff, and then you could obviously remove the other table. But basically, it's an SQL, but you do delete from, and then you do where, and you do a search. So if I could run this, which I can't, it would delete Dave Samuels right now, but of course I can't run it because, like I said, it doesn't exist in Access. Okay, so there you go.